Hello, happy Saturday. I had hoped to have a vlog ready this weekend, but it's nowhere near done, so I'm going to do a tag instead. The Reading Wordsmith tagged me in the Am I a Book Snob tag, and I thought it was pretty fun, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. So, what is your definition of book snobbery is the first question. For me, my definition would be someone who judges others for what they read. In certain circumstances, I think it is valid to judge people, especially if they're advertising an author who is very publicly problematic and is hurting people either with their work or with what they say on social media or where they put their money. So, is there a genre or a type of book you would never consider reading? Such as, would you ever read a romance, or if you regularly read romance, would you ever try a science fiction novel? I read pretty broadly. I could do better at reading from diverse authors, but genre-wise, I will try something once, no matter what. I think the only thing I wouldn't try is probably a subset of nonfiction. I'm not really interested in tech bro how-tos or anything like that, but I would try anything but that once. I would be kind of hesitant to read erotica or dark romance simply because I know that that's not my favorite thing, and I know that I have had not great experiences with the majority of those books that I've read. However, if someone that I trusted, who I believe that their book taste is at least somewhat close to mine, or they've recommended good books in the past, I would try what they recommended. 3. Does erotica count as literature? Yes, it does. You can read it. It's a book. I once heard, when talking about the spice scale, that 5 chili peppers was not erotica. 5 chili peppers is the next step down. Erotica is the book form of pornography, essentially. And I do believe that you can consume that kind of thing ethically, and I think people who do read it they shouldn't be villainized just because they read things like that. However, I do see people's point when they argue that erotica is not literature. You're not gonna get the same thing out of an erotic novel as you will out of Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. You're not going to get the same thing out of these books. However, you should still be able to read those if that's what you want to do. 4, the next question, is it better to read classic books than popular bestsellers? And I don't think you can compare them. They're two completely different types of books. You can get something out of both of them. And it's not fair to compare classic books to bestsellers because they were not written at the same time. They didn't have the same influences. They didn't have the same social commentary. Neither is better than the other. If I had to pick one, I would probably pick bestsellers over classics, simply because I tend to have a better experience with bestsellers. Classics are a slog for me to get through. There have been a couple that have been really great, and I haven't had to work really hard to get through them because they were enjoyable, but the majority of classics that I've read, I have not given higher than 3 stars, and I haven't enjoyed my time, and I've had to listen to the audiobook to get through them. And the next question is, have you ever bragged about reading a classic in order to sound smart? Yeah, definitely. Because book snobs make people feel bad for not reading them. The next question, do audiobooks count as reading? What about comic books or graphic novels? All of the above. It all counts as reading. And personally, I think that if you are someone who tries to make a person feel bad for listening to the audiobook instead of reading the physical book, or for primarily reading graphic novels or manga, why? Why do you want to make people feel bad? Them reading those things is not hurting you. It doesn't matter. And if you want to take those things away from people who enjoy them or who need them in order to be able to read, say you're blind, you can't read a book, and Braille books are not that common, you should be able to listen to an audiobook and not be judged. Also, picture books are how people learn to read. Comic books and graphic novels help people learn to read, and it also evokes a different type of emotion than a regular print book would. The next question is, have you ever looked down at someone for reading a popular fluff book, a book with little substance to it? For example, a self-help book or celebrity memoir. I mean, the short answer is yes, but there's more nuance to it than that. So I think everybody has the right to read whatever they want. Whether or not that book is something that I would read should not factor into whether or not they read it. The only time that I think I am justified for judging someone for reading a popular fluff book is if it's like a celebrity memoir of someone who is just downright bad. Like they're just an awful person, they've hurt lots of people, and they are profiting off of people reading their book. That's really the only time I think I would be justified in thinking that. Otherwise, who am I to tell you not to read a fun little romance? Who am I? Why does my opinion get to dictate whether or not you have fun? I do think there's a lot of conversation about this happening in the book world right now, that you probably shouldn't only read fun little books. You should read things that make you think. However, our world kind of sucks right now, and I don't blame anybody for trying to find a little joy. And if reading is your one joy, then I understand why you only read fluff books. And question number 8, have you ever been the recipient of someone else's snobbery? Yes, all the time. People at work who don't really read at all tend to not... They see me reading and then they're like, oh, why don't you read classics? Why don't you read nonfiction? I do read both of those things. I just don't read them nearly as often as other things. And they don't say it out loud, but I can tell that they are judging me for not reading those things and bringing them to work to read. I've also been very vocal about how I think that people should have the right to read whatever they want, whenever they want. And I have told lots of people who tell me that their favorite book is something that they read in high school and they haven't reread it since, that I think they should read more. I think they should read other things and try to see if there's another book that's their favorite book instead of that one. Because, you know, you're a different person than you were in high school. But I think because I've been so vocal about that, I don't get a lot of it. Online, I definitely can tell. It hasn't happened to me yet, but I can tell that there are quite a few book snobs out there. And I know from people who are much more popular than I am on YouTube and Instagram that strangers on the internet love to give their opinion on what you do with your spare time because you're showing it to them. And I'm just waiting for that to happen because I don't plan on not posting. Would you ever be friends with a snob? Maybe you already are, is the next question. I think I have accidentally been friends with snobs. Most of those friendships have not panned out unless those people have changed their opinions on reading. I used to be really close friends with a woman who was obsessed with Charles Dickens still. And she kept telling me that her favorite book was a book by him, and she hadn't read it since she was in high school. And I tried to read that book because I hadn't read it. I hadn't read any Charles Dickens, and I hated it. I couldn't get through it. I had the audiobook, and I made it 50% in, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't keep going. And when I told her that, she kind of got offended that I insulted her favorite book. And even after we had a discussion of like, you can like things that I don't like, and I don't have to like everything that you like. I just wanted you to know that this is not my kind of book, so don't recommend this book to me anymore. She ended up liking a lot of the books that I recommended to her and let her borrow However, she never like got over that. That book is still her favorite book. And we are now no longer friends for other reasons. I think that people who, and I've seen commentary about this online lately too, I'm really interested to know more, but I think that people who only read to learn, who only read nonfiction, or they only read memoirs or classics, I don't think that those people and myself will ever be able to have a deep friendship unless they change. Because I firmly believe that you should read for fun. Yes, you should also read to learn, but reading for fun is a vital part of my life. It's like the main thing that I do for fun. So I'm not going to spend all of my spare time reading books that make me sad or that make me feel bad about myself. And if other people want to do that, that's fine, but I don't want that energy in my life. The next question is, are people who don't read less sophisticated than people who do? That's a hard one. I think that the people I know who read are more capable of seeing nuance in situations than the people who don't. That's not to say that everybody who doesn't read can't see nuance or is a bad person. I know plenty of people who don't read. My husband doesn't read. I mean, he does, but like 5 books a year. But like people who take in a lot of content online or who take in a lot of streaming, I think that ingesting media of any kind helps with that, especially if you're watching things about cultures that aren't the same as yours or about people who have different lifestyles from you. So the short answer is no, but it depends on what else you do with your free time. So yeah. The next question, I guess the last question, is measure yourself. Based on your answers to the previous 10 questions, would you qualify as a book snob? And I definitely don't think I am. I might have been one earlier in my life, and I know quite a few people who are, but I think that if you have decided to read, that's a good thing, regardless of what it is. If you are coming to me asking for opinions on what you're reading, just because I say I don't like that book or I think you should branch out does not mean I am judging your reading taste, because too many people don't read. That's the short of it. Like, way too many people never pick up a book after high school, and I think that that's a very sad way to live. And if reading a physical book is not your cup of tea, but you listen to audiobooks or you like reading graphic novels, I think that's just as good. So I definitely don't think I am a book snob. And the last question is to tag some people. If I tag you and you aren't a tag person, that's fine. Don't worry about doing this. I just wanted to highlight some of my smaller friends on YouTube. Okay, we're back. I have 5 people I want to tag. The first one is Emily's Reading Era. She is someone I found on Instagram, and I have loved her content. She has inspired me so much in the last month since I found her. So I want to highlight her. I'm not sure if she does many long form videos, but that's fine. I just want to highlight her. Doesn't matter if y'all do these videos. The second person is Hales Reads. She posts videos every Friday on YouTube. And then the next one is Darian the Librarian. She's a bigger content creator. You might have heard of her already. But I don't think she gets the attention she deserves. So I want to highlight her too. And the last one I want to do is Big Al Does YouTube, or Does BookTube. And I recently found him. I don't know if he does tags or not yet. I haven't watched enough of his videos, but he is a little bit different from the people I usually follow online. So yeah, I'll tag all those people down below in the box. Whether they do the tag or not, you should check them out. Thank you for watching. I guess that's it. Yeah. Hopefully I'll have a vlog done soon. I've been vlogging, I just haven't had time to edit or put all the clips together. So yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day wherever you are. And if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe for more videos like this.